Happy Meals Mom. And so it's I Hear America Singing, and a gift for Santa, which was like this disjointed fever dream of like, we go to the junkyard and then Santa's and the cookies and thank you for coming out, everybody. I appreciate you. That's what it was like a musical review where you're like, what the hell happened? What happened? What? And so I was just playing this show and the gift for Santa, and I had a trombone solo in it, and they were like, well, good job, young man. And then, that's what happened when I was first getting my start, and these guys were jaded. They were like, fuck Santa. So I was up there on the gift for Santa doing that, and then I wound up on the General Jackson. That's all. Before I get to the General Jackson, so between the park and the General Jackson, I left for Sevierville, Tennessee, which is aptly named. Let me assure you, no question about it. As severe as they come. I lived in a little. I rented this little house, $450 a month. I'll never forget. Now that seems just impossible. It's like you have to help cook the meth if you're renting for $450. You're involved in the cooking. So anyway, that was $450 a month, and then I remember I had this neighbor, and I'd never really been away from home before, and I was like kind of real skittish about it, and I'm like, I don't know, nobody's here, I'm by myself, and my mom said, I just can't leave you, which she never was much of a help, but like, well, you're going to be okay, that kind of thing was not Dorothy, my mother's strong suit. I hope nothing bad happens. That kind of summed up my experience with my mom. Nothing bad happens to me. I'll pray for it. You know it won't work. Okay, all right. So, you got to deal with that detachment and like getting like kind of on my own and seeing what that's even like. And my next door neighbor is like if Deliverance met King of the Hill. It would produce somebody like this, maybe just a touch of Squidbillies if you're familiar with Squidbillies. That's what this cat was like, and named Bob. I don't remember his wife's name, but she had emphysema, she wore oxygen, and he was a chain smoker. I mean, when I say chain, I mean the chain don't ever break. I never saw him without a cigarette, ever. And he was like, I remember them pulling away, and I said, oh, I left something at home. Can you bring it in a couple of weekends when they were visiting? And they're like, and Bob chimes in, this is your home now, Roy. It filled my soul with hatred. I was like, no, it's not either, man. I'm in a field in a cardboard house. And this really happened. I don't have to exaggerate any of this, lucky for me. One morning at 2:30, 3 in the morning, I happened to still be up for various reasons. I was up in my living room, but I hear this. Coming back and getting more distant and getting really close, and the lights going into my bedroom. I'm like, what is happening, man? So I open the shade, and he's mowing my grass at 2:30 in the morning. For cigarette money. Yeah, I ripped in the redneckery right there. Yeah. He wanted cigarette money for mowing my grass at 2:30 in the morning. I'm like, I don't want to press charges. I don't want to give you cigarette money. So that was and we did just an equally disjointed show there called Boots, Boogie, and Blues. And I mean, I'm sorry, and I don't want to offend anybody involved in the creative process of that, but clearly you were on mushrooms, and real bad ones at that. Old ones, been in the cellar 52 years. You're tripping because this made no sense, and then the Christmas show was 10 times worse than that. It was really like, this dog's a frothing, we're coming down the chimney, here we go. Why are we talking about Elvis in a Christmas show? It's not Blue Christmas, it's not the one with that, the big background vocals that everybody burns on. It's hard to do those vocals. When you think of it, the hardest thing in music, background vocals to Blue Christmas. Talk about having some balls. You're just standing there by yourself and that's your entrance. That's what you got to start with? Oh! You're talking about leap of faith. If you're hesitant in it all, it's over. So I went through all of that and did the shows, and then I left. Then I met my, who would ultimately be my, what's his name? I don't think I got the timeline wrong. No, I did the general. No, I met her. Yeah. I'm just thinking about where the cataclysmic event goes. Just give me a minute. That's why everything went black right about then. No, I won't spend much time on it, but I did get married around that time, and then it was just about grinding forth. And I was, we were dating, and I was like, well, last chance. This is my last chance to go to New York. I'm going to go. So I'm not married. So I went. I left. I ran away. I was on the General Jackson. I was at 7 nights a week gig at one time, then it went down to 6. Wow. And it was like playing, Dixieland on the deck, and, making it through the salad, what they call the salad parade. There were so many weird things that happened during that time, too. I remember we would go down for meal times below deck. And we would do salad and green beans, if you want to call it that, and like mac and cheese and corn. And one time they were wrapped up for dinner, it's just nothing but water and steam coming out of the little Bunsen burners, and they're cleaned up. But it's me and a bunch of Iranian crew guys. And there's a solitary singular maggot crawling across the table towards me. And I went, here, boy. And the big party one with the most stripes goes, you are gross. I was like, I love my job. I love my job. Days like that, I love it. And then, so after all that was over, then I moved to New York. I remember grandmother died, the one that lived over here, the one that we had while we had Donaldson roots. My mother's side of the family, her mom died. And so she left me, I think it was $3,000, left a bunch of the grandkids, a bit of money. Not much, just something, And I took that money and thought it was like about $700,000 and moved to New York with it. You dumb shit. What are you thinking? But I did, and I had credit cards that I'm still paying off. Yeah. But so I went there, and I had to crash on this guy. I lived with a hoarder, turns out. So that's fun. I've seen that up close. That's pretty neat. And it was a 1-bedroom, and I slept in the living room on a futon that couldn't fold out because the wall blocked it. So, and I didn't have a pillow. I wasn't thinking ahead, so he had he had a lot of fast food wrappers bound up together and used as a pillow until I could get to like a drugstore and buy a regular pillow. And so I did that and I wasn't in a hurry because I was plenty comfortable. And so it took a week or two for me to get that, I got that. I remember that apartment. A squirrel got in. It was a 3rd floor walk-up in Astoria in Queens. And a squirrel got up there and ate all my rice out of a rice-a-roni box. I'm like, y'all are gangster squirrels. Woke me up, and then I woke up and go, shoo, and it looked at me and went back to eating. Like, mine, this is mine. You get your own box of rice-a-roni. I was like, man, how is it like that? But I got to play with a lot of heroes there, people I transcribed, listened to, played on a lot of rehearsal bands. I met Slide Hampton, who was a big hero of mine. I met Steve Duray and played with him. All the trombone guys that were a big influence, as well as some of the just regular, like Bobby Short, who was a cabaret artist, one of the last cabaret guys really to do it and embrace that whole lifestyle and embodiment of what that was. I mean, you had to have the cabaret license and all the stuff. Kind of the era of, if you're watching The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, I don't know how many people listen to that or watch that show, but it's that era of New York, 50s New York, right at the beginning of the beatnik era, where you had three-piece people, three-piece harmony groups doing afternoons. Comedians had a healthy life days when Lenny Bruce was working on the rooms. So it was from that era, and I got to know him. I got to hear a lot of stories. And that was when the Copacabana was the big the crown jewel. Everybody wanted to, I gotta work the Copa, I gotta work the Copa. You know, and he was from that, and I was like, I had worked the Copa with a wedding band maybe a month previous, and was like, it's kind of run down, man. You know, but then he's thinking of it in an era, you know. And so that was cool to be around. It was wildly different from Nashville, from Mount Juliet especially. I remember ordering a slice of pizza there and being like, let's see. Looked at the menu, and the guy was like, next. That's all that happened. I was looking at the menu, next. So I did that, and then the terrorist attack happened. Oh, I went out with John Gotti's niece. That was a two-dater. I didn't have a second date. She was like, you know, I'm related to John Gotti. You know, I've got to go. I've got to get out of here. It's a pretty lady. A little stabby for my taste, but. So I come back home after the terrorist attacks. They knocked the buildings down, and then again, my mom, I was sure he was dead. I mean, I lived in another borough, but that's fine. We'll soon dead. Then I come back here and I start freelancing again. I never had a plan to be a studio musician, but I wound up being a studio musician. And I played on lots and lots of different recordings. And did that, and was a band, had a house, had the whole nine, and then everything there blew up. My mother passed away. That was a huge event. Which, as an aside, when my mom was sick, we were sure that she wasn't going to wake up because it had been like 2 or 3 days she was asleep, hardcore asleep. And my ex-wife opened the refrigerator door, and all of the sodas came out at one time. There was an ungodly aluminum crash on all over. And my mom wakes up and goes, what was that? My ex-wife pulled her out of heaven to bother her with that. Come back to earth. Look, there's sodas everywhere. You're not missing anything. See? So that was fun. And then, you know, I weathered that, and then I weathered my dad dying. I had a heart attack when I was running. I was trying to train for a half marathon. My body was like, no, you will not. You would have had a heart attack. You will slow down now. And so I like to think of my heart as a not really. So all these events, and all the while working, playing, recording, everything is event to event. So it's hard for me to even keep up with who all worked for during those years, because it's just you're trying to make money and you're going to the next thing. But I look back on some of the all music credits and I'm like, man, I did a lot of stuff when I was in a blind rush to get through life. But I did. I worked with a lot of different people. And finally, the last wound to really be free was to get a divorce. And that was hard. But I did. I sold the house and basically more or less burned my own life to the ground. And started over. And I remember the day that I moved out for my separation from my ex. Prince called the next morning. And it was him on the phone. And ultimately I turned it down. And it went away for a year. And then that guy got fed up with some of the business practices, and they're like, I need you in Minneapolis tonight, drop what you're doing and come. And it wasn't like that. And so he quit. They called me again. And I took it. And so I went from all this like, Prince wants you to do it. It was always like either him or somebody going, Prince would like you to audition in a white suit in Los Angeles on Thursday. And I'm like, no, I don't want to do that. I just am I in the band? What is happening? I don't want to do that. Prince would like you to be in a leather onesie at noon in Chelsea today. It's white. Yeah, I know. I don't want to. And that's what it became. And so I went right into rehearsals. And first thing I see is it's an 11-piece horn section. So it's an army of just horns. You know, it's 11 people, which is a whole band's worth of horns alone. And we flanked him on either side of the stage. And this dude was little. He was a little fellow when I saw him, but he gave off this this electricity. He was both, you noticed that he was small and you noticed that he was a giant at the same time. He was just like that. And I met him first before the rest of the horn players by accident. And this was one that I don't know that I like the story and all, but given information, I would do it differently if I were faced with the same circumstance. But it was a long, intense horn rehearsal. There was lots of back and forth, lots of little power dynamics. If you can zoom out and look at it, you're like, well, that's kind of entertaining and weird. And so it was intense, right? It was an intense day. So I just walked down the hall on a break. I'm like, I'm just going to just see what's around here. Walk down the hall, but the hall's dark. Clue. The hall is unlit. Don't go down it. I pass a quintuple, like a 5 platinum record on, so I can't remember, I think it was musicology or something, quintuple platinum. And I passed another one and another one after that. And they were all different records. And I was like, that is a giant amount of money for him as a writer, but also just success. And he seemed to have this knack how he could play the business. He knew how, when it was not single driven, but it was like a record driven market, he owned them. He could play them. And that was, I think, his greatest talent was playing and also, but connecting with people. His best instrument was people. That's what he was great at that. He could make you feel like you're the only one ever. And he could also take that away. It was a form of control. But anyway, so I'm walking down this hallway with all this stuff, and I walk into this big atrium, and there's paintings of him, and an elevator that says elevate. It doesn't say 1 and 2. It says elevate. And I'm like, inside, but I'm not doing it too much. I mean, I'm never going to be any different. And I'm like, what the fuck is that, man? Come on. Elevate, and you got paintings of you. I know you big dude, but come on. And then I heard the TV, and I walked into the room, and he was on a chains lounge in silk pajamas, like the nunchuck button pajamas, super slick silk, light up platform shoes that you get at kids. He was wearing that, and he looked at me side-eyed, just like people imitated him 1,000 times with his eyes. He doesn't move his head, just like Melvin, oddly. But he just kind of side-eyed me and goes, and I go, hello, Mr. Prince. Because inside I'm panicking. Inside I'm like, oh no, I'm going home on Southwest today. I don't want to go home on Southwest because it's supposed to be a big deal. And I have just ruined it. And he looks at me and I'm like, because these are split-second decisions now, and he's looking at the BBC. He's got the BBC on, and I go, watching some news? And conversation. And he goes, yeah, yes. He says yes. He doesn't say yeah or not casual. Yes. I like news. Who says that? I mean, I like news. Well, I mean, I guess in the way of being informed, we all like news. What's going away? And so he did dismiss me, and he said, I'll be with you in a moment. I'm like, cool, that means I can go without losing my head or being sent home. And that was on a Wednesday. Guess worse. I'm going to need to wipe my cranium. So that was a Wednesday. On Friday, we were told to be at Paisley, which is where we rehearsed. Paisley Park was his big compound. He both lived there and rehearsed there. And a bit of trivia is where Grumpy Old Men 1 and 2 was shot. Who cares? But I found that interesting. Even he's got to pay the rent, I guess. Prince wants us where? He wants Walter Matthau to be there? Yes. Yeah, he does. So anyway, we're at the rehearsals, and that was on a Wednesday. This is a Friday. We're there at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. We've got to do 2 video shoots, one for the woman he's producing, Andy Allo, and one for him. And we do his first. And there are these, we're in like zoot suits that they bought us, which I love trying on clothes. It was a nightmare. And every day of my life in that band was like, will you try on this big baby doll dress? Stuff like that, where I'm like, I'm looking on Overstock, like I know they're going to get the most size pants. I know they are. So that's a fun aside. So we're in these zoot suits that I'd gone through that nightmarish reality with, And he has these tables set up, right? And they look like that. And they look as sturdy as that, but they weren't those. They weren't those tables. And he had several drinks, kind of mock-up drinks that looked like it was alcohol, when in fact it was like Mountain Dew with some food coloring and Diet Coke. And I thought, well, you know, because he's Jehovah's Witness, he was not going to have alcohol there. Right? So I put my foot on one of the sprigs, I believe they call them legs, of the table. One of them sprigs down there and wiggled out of the table. So put my foot on it and sploosh, all 4 drinks dump into my crotch. So now every time I move, I go, because my crotch is sticky, and he looks at me and he goes, why do you do that? And I says, I don't know. I don't know. I wish there was an answer. Oh God, I wish there was an answer. So we had to set the table back up and do his video, and then we had to do Andy's video. And the whole time now, at this point, when we start the girl he's producing, Andy, when we start that, it's now about 1:30 in the morning. So 12 hours passed, no food. He ordered Domino's, had Domino's delivered, and sent it away because he didn't like the graphics of the box. So it's like, smell it. And then it was, okay, I'm fading, so there'd be 5-hour energies. Now, I've not done cocaine much, but the 5-hour energies might as well have been a rail because I had 5 of them. So I've got 25 hours of energy going. And so we do a video, and at the end of the night, now it's something like 4:30 or almost 5 in the morning, the sun is starting to break. Not like you can tell it, and windowed as hell. The director of her video says, we'd like you to do a dance solo. And I'm like, you're making a terrible mistake. I'm like, why would you want that?
I've seen you dance.
And so there's video evidence of it on Andy Allo's People Pleaser video. About halfway through, you'll see me do a high kick over my head. And how I achieved that result was not by dancing, because I said, I don't really know anything about dancing necessarily, but crank these really loud, and I'll play along. And you'll see what happens. And that's what I told them. And they were both the size of half the room. Huge stacks. Huge. And somebody said, you know, those are $250,000 a piece. I'm like, hell, it might as well be $10 billion. They're huge. I'll never afford them. That's what we're getting at. You know, I ain't even gonna rent those. They're huge. So and he cranked those up, and that was the result of that. So I did that up until he died, which was a shock. I found out on the news, and there was all kinds of mystery around it and weirdness about it, and I still feel really weird about it. And I came home and went back to freelancing and stumbled into Lauren Daigle's gig, who I'm currently touring with on one Christmas. You know, and she's been a pleasure to work for, and I get to solo a lot, which I love, and being able to do. Get to improvise a lot, so she features me. And you go from like playing these big things with Prince, and then I was like driving a car. I was like, well, that's some sad times. But then it got better. Things picked up, and it was better. Any questions so far?
I'd like to interject.
Yes.
I got one of my cats because he went on tour with Prince.
That's right.
He had 3 cats that his ex left him, and so I was ready to get another cat, and I went over and met Twiggy. He was this huge ball of fur, and so yeah,
I like Twiggy.
That's kind of exciting for me. I told her I was coming to see Papa Roy tonight.
Oh man! She started celebrating. Oh my God! I had 4. I had 4 cats.
Clearly not an amicable split.
No. I was like, well, you probably kill them, so I'll take them. And then I gave them away to people that I thought they'd get home, so you were one of them. Yeah. Oh, there was a lot of that, yeah. There was a lot of like, I get you by you around. The first one that behavior started. Yeah, yes.
I know the rest his soul. How was it to feel to play with John Blackwell?
Oh, right on. Well, John's pocket was real. First of all, this is kind of mean to him. He rode him like a dog, man. Like if he so missed a bell pattern on a bridge, he would dock him in a stadium. We were in the United Center, and he would dock him money. Of course, he'd pay him higher, so he could, I think. But he was really hard on him. But I liked how he played a lot. John was just a beast of a player, man. And just had pocket 16th notes just in his DNA. It was crazy. Yes.
What kind of reaction did you get from your performance with Prince on Arsenio Hall?
I got, most everybody was just like, hey, I saw you on TV, that was cool. Yeah, because a lot of people enjoyed that, and that was like the best representation of what we were doing with him was probably on that show. Because, yeah, that was what he wanted. He said, at this point in my career, I just want to hear what it sounds like. And that's what it sounded like, just sounded chaos. It was really great.
How long ago did you play under General Jackson, did you say?
Oh my God, let's see. 98 and 98.
Well, that's fine. I was just gonna ask you, but I don't think you played with Angela Rose. She plays under General Jackson.
No, I never have. I'd like to meet her.
It's been that long ago. I'm just
Give her
curious.
my number. Yes, sir.
Was that your first time playing in a horn section that large?
Yes, yeah. I mean, even in big bands, it wasn't quite as big as horn centric. I mean, it was just sort of insanity. And it just and it was really a sort of a stereo version of the same thing. Both sections played more or less the same thing, unless he broke us into the counterpoint. So he'd sing a part here, and he'd sing a part here. One of the things that I really valued about him, this is an aside, but it involves the horns, is we did Jimmy Kimmel, and we had to do the outside stage part. And he sang parts to each section on each side of the stage, 2 different parts to play in lieu of what we were used to playing.
Wow.
He wanted to change it, and it was at the 10-second mark when they were calling 10, 9, and he turns to his sings, turns over there, he sings. Because if you can, and this is the cool thing about like improvising, sometimes in that setting, in those settings, improvising or last minute changes can put you up against fear, and when you're up against that fear, you do great things. And I really think that's why he wanted to crack that open. It's like, if there's an element of uncertainty, not to a dangerous degree where you're just going to fall apart, but there's an element of, I'm not sure what I'm going to do, then you open the lane for, whatever mystery that music is about, or any art, or any creative anything for that matter. Could be writing, could even be learning in some way. If you're up against a deadline, some people cram, for example. I think that's what that impulse is. Just a minute, I want to listen. Any other questions? Yes, sir.
Well, have you ever thought about doing comedy?
I have thought about it. I have done stand-up one time.
Well, I heard you're a funny guy.
Twice. I've done it twice. I've done it tonight, yeah. So I'm not really sure what to expect. This is one of those moments where you're up against fear pretty much as a blank slate, a giant beast, where you're like, what am I supposed to do? I don't know. You're wrong. So it's one of those, But yeah, I did it in London. I did it on like just a 5-minute spot in London at an open mic night. They put me up to the people in the band. And I just improvised at that time, take it more seriously now. Like I might actually write now, but at the time I was just like, well, just whatever it is, it is.
Was that when you did the stack with Prince?
No, that was in Oakland. There was a time when, this is a great example of him putting you up against fear to see what you'll do. And he did it off the stage too, just as much. It scared the life out of you, So it was like, we're in Oakland, California, which I saw a guy right away as soon as we crossed the bridge with a full-size hubcap on the chain around his neck. I'm like, damn! That ain't true. That's a commitment right there. That ain't true. That's not an accessory. That man has stolen a hubcap and put it around his neck. Damn. So that was the first thing I saw. And then we had to play. I feel like there's a Fox Theater in every city in the world, but it might have been something called the Fox Theater. I can't remember. But we had a 3-night stay, and on the first night, we're doing Housequake, and that's when we bring strangers in from the audience. Yeah, the high security measure there. So I'm dancing next to people I don't know, and it says, "Put your horn down, Roy." I'm like, "That's what I do with your band, so I'm not putting my horn down." Still got it. I'm afraid I've misheard him. I'm not going to take an action until it's repeated. "Put your horn down, Roy." That was a clear repeat. So I did. And he brings me up to the mic. And then I think maybe he wanted me to dance. I don't know. I wasn't sure what he wanted. But he stopped the band. He stopped all rhythm, all chords, all everything. It was up to me to keep that. And that's exactly what I did. And that's why I had to do that until he brought the band back in. And when he did, it was like, from the crowd, you know. Because it was like, "Do or die, and you were alive." So that's a great example of why he would do stuff like that. Man.
You were just on Facebook, you were just in Europe someplace and you tried some alcohol.
Oh yeah. Oh, yeah. I tried alcohol. How many first times can I get? Well, this is my first time having gin. That was a special. Gin's a drug. It's not that. It's a wonderful, wonderful, delicious drug.
Kind of cool.
Yeah, I saw some people just kicking it back in the plaza in Madrid. They were just hanging out, just sitting on the cobblestone. And I'm like, "Well, I'm going to roll over and read them." And I dropped and I started rolling towards them. And as I kept rolling, they were like, "He's not stopping." The guy put his foot up. And I let that stop me, and then I got up like that and went on.
But one of the band members says, "What did you do that for?" Well, I don't know.
I didn't. I still don't. It's probably some kind of disorder. Undiagnosed disorder. Gotta be, got some kind of brain trauma or something. Let me tell you, in Spain, they eat a lot of ham. They eat a whole bunch of ham. It's all they care about. They kill a pig just as soon as they look at a pig. That's a murderous country for your pork brethren. It's rough. I liked France. I didn't like the first day I was there because I was sore and I was on a double-decker bus and I kept getting concussed because it was squished a little bit and I was on the top deck and I kept getting cut. I was pissed off and couldn't remember to duck. Could not remember to get out of bed and just play hunchback. Couldn't remember. I just kept getting hit. But and the second day of France, I really liked. I got a lot of cheese. I mean, I loaded down on cheese. Every kind of cheese. Some shit probably wasn't even cheese I ate. I don't care. I went to Germany, that was something. And I kept saying, when we're in Hamburg, I kept saying, "We're in Hamburg." And that's probably a disorder too. Hamburg. Why are you doing that? Oh, I don't know. I wish I knew. Yes.
You have kind of a scary leader like Prince. How's the band get along with each other?
Oh my God, they tear each other up. They can. Because everyone was clamoring for his attention, and they hated that I just bumbled into it. That was one thing that was kind of contentious. But I was like, I ain't doing it on purpose. I ain't trying to get his attention. I just wandered into the man's bedroom. That's a natural, normal thing that men do. Everybody's done it at camp, haven't they? Oh no. Yeah, no, it's just like, but they could go crazy trying to I don't think he even knows my name, and there was a lot of that, and all of that was, none of that's okay. There's no hierarchy in people. Everybody walking the earth is carbon, and so I know I respect what they've achieved, definitely, but they are people, and so for them to get so bent that they needed his approval or somebody was bothersome sometimes. and it would make people do weird things sometimes. You didn't watch any season of American Idol or anything else, see where people are really clamoring. And some people genuinely can sing and want to see how far they can go, and then some people are really just clamoring, wanting something. And there was a lot of that too. But I did meet some interesting people. I met Christina Aguilera just because I was watching the women's room. And she comes sauntering up to the women's room and I go, "Hey, call me." I was like, that's perfect. That's exactly what we're looking for. That's that kind of. So a full toddler, I was like, "Oh, bless your heart, I'm sorry to put you in your childhood there." Get out of the way so you can pee. That was at a place called the Sayers Club in Hollywood, which is, the entrance to it is in the back of a Gray's Papaya hot dog stand. You have to have a special knock, which I found annoying, but you had to beep, 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 beep. I don't know what it was, and then they opened the door and there's all this old oak, and that's where at that time he was having me hide him on stage, so I would extend my jacket and he'd be behind me, and then when he tapped my shoulder or tapped my back, I would have to run and reveal him. And he would do the same thing sometimes on the exit if it was a heavy paparazzi area, and this is where the chain link fence came in. They climbed it, and I hit him from the door to the door of his limo, which they had parked really close, and so I could just like drape, and he was gone. And bulbs popping at me every which way. And as soon as I heard his door close, I went, "Do you want one with me with my trombone out?" Venom from them. They didn't talk to me. They were just like waiting. But that really, I mean, it's like, well, there you go. I guess you don't have a picture. No picture. But he got away in his little limo. He was just as happy as he could be. He did. It was weird when Paula Deen got in a lot of trouble, when she lost her job for, admitting to racism, more or less. And so he bikes up to me on his bicycle and he goes, "Do you think Paula Deen should have been fired?" And I was like, "Yes, but long before this, because of her use of butter." And he biked away. So lots of weird little interactions with him that really had nothing to do with music at all.
Did he even give you a look after that comment?
No, I got him. I got him because he just was like. And he biked on. He was doing laps around Paisley and outside in full regalia. Like he didn't like put on workout clothes. He was in he had a full fro. It was all nice, and he had a collared shirt and kind of ninja pants. Wow, man. Yeah.
I've heard more than one person mention that you were his favorite.
Yeah.
Did you know that?
I'm not comfortable with it, but yeah, I think I knew that because it was well-meaning. I think he knew that was well-meaning. He knew I wouldn't rob from him. He knew somebody lifted a $10,000 mic while we were there. I don't know who did it. It's just people steal from him all the time. And he just knew that I was well-meaning, and I was what I was. He knew there was no pretense of me trying to pretend to be something I wasn't, and I think he appreciated that about me. And he knew that I worked as hard as anybody there. We had a lot of choreography, and I had done a bunch of Zumba over the years, a bunch of Zumba, and a lot of the horn players would have trouble catching the steps, and I think he was surprised because it's like, dude can do it as soon as they're doing it, and he made me dance a lot. I lost a good bit of weight on the gig. I had to do a bunch of jumping and weirdness, but yeah, people say that, and I believe them. For whatever reason, that was the case.
Did he have a sense of humor?
Oh my God, yeah.
That's
he was
why
really funny.
Yeah.
He was really funny. He prank called me one time in my hotel room in Switzerland, and he sounded like the most Caucasian dude I've ever heard in my life. He sounded like a superhuman Caucasian. I can't even sound that white, but he could. And he was like, "I'm checking your wings." It was like this sound. And I was like, somebody called me about wanting to come up and maybe you could meet Prince. And I was telling the manager, I said, oh, that was Prince. I was like, well, he's amazing. And he was really funny. And sometimes if he performed at Paisley, he would call audience members out and she said, look at her, she's just standing there like, what? You know, so he would go in on it, you know. And he didn't like for things to be out of his vision and control. So like one time somebody ordered us on the stage and he came up to me, who called for you to be on the stage? Who was the one that gave that call? It was like we had launched a nuclear sub. Who told you to get on the stage? Who told him? Who made the call? He was like wigging out. And I'm like, Theo. That's exactly what I did. Because that's who told me to get on stage. That man right there. He's the one that done it. I didn't handle that gracefully. Oh, he's about to kill a man. Kill him. Yeah. Any other? Yes, sir.
What's been what you would say is a very memorable high point in doing the shows or working with Blind Dable?
It continues to evolve and be great. But there was a show in Vancouver that I got called an audible to play on a hymn, and I was able to just fly. And there's a video of that, and I'm really glad that got captured, because it was just one of those where I just get to go away. You know, when I was a kid, I played the trombone. That was happened to be the instrument I played, but my hero was Stevie Ray Vaughan. And the reason was to watch him disappear when he played. Just like he was just gone. And I got to experience that on her show in Vancouver. And now there's a bunch of room for me to do that as a result of that. And I get to have that now. Like I get to do that at Bridgestone. I never in a million years thought I'd get to really just play, improvise in a setting like that. But I've gotten to do that because of her. You know? And I love it.
So that would maybe be more musically fulfilling than
It is, I think, in a lot of ways, because I get to be, I genuinely, she just wants me to be me. And I've never been in a gig where that's really that way. Never. It's always, you're always filling a role. In some ways it has common ground with being an actor, but she just wants me to be me. It's a very important thing to her, and I'm not even sure why she sort of latched on to me. In some ways, we did the Christmas tour, and again, it's that same thing that you're not aware of, that people will see. If they see it and latch onto it, they're there. And she's one that did. And then it's just like, put horns together, you got to come back out and say, I don't want to do a gig without you. And I'm like, well, let's hope I hold out. I don't want to put you in the poorhouse, you know. Yeah, no, she's great.
Did you ever make Prince laugh?
Oh yeah, oh God, yeah. Yeah, a lot of different things. There was one time he had some people come by to produce a reality show on us. But they were the same people that had done like, I can't remember a girl's name. It was like I can't remember her name, but like one of those like pop stars that drives you insane had just finished a reality show with them. And they were swarming. Woo! They were good. And so I climbed up when they came and interviewed us. I was just like, that's what people say. Yeah, I threw that. Because I was like, I'm not about to, what are you going to pay me $200 a week and make all you know, what are you going to do? You know, no. But they were around. But I made him laugh a lot, and I think that's why he thought of that. He was just trying things, because he honestly didn't know I don't think he knew what to do with the 22-piece band. Did a handful of gigs, and he's like, ooh, put them on TV. You know, so there was a lot of that. But yeah, I made him laugh a good bit, often unintentionally. But I really trying to make him laugh, I make him laugh. I went there I had a screaming fever one time and had to go up there. I was just this on hallucinating going to rehearsal. I made him laugh because I was trying to turn on a mic that don't turn on, you know. And then I pulled the mic up, boom, and it hit there, and I looked at him and he went. And they started laughing. I'm sorry about your microphone, Mr. Prince.
Did you always call him Mr. Prince?
No, I called him Prince at some point. Some people made the mistake, I think they could pull off, "Hey, P." I watched that happen. He always had to talk back, Mike. He was like, "Did you call me P?" No, he didn't call you. No, hell no, he wouldn't do that. Who would do that? That's what I'm thinking. You better bow out of this one. But he's like, "No, hey P, I did. The guy who said it, and I was like, "Whew, he didn't like that." Prince. I prefer Prince. Woo! You can feel the ice. One time Andrew Boucher brought, he didn't bring the head of his cabinet or something. Something, I don't know what he didn't bring something. And that's all he could think about. He was like, why didn't you bring your head to the cabinet? This doesn't sound right. It was just like, it was the whole rehearsal. It was just like, this is, I felt so bad for him because he kept saying, "Yeah, I don't have it. I don't have it." I'm like, that's what I could say. I don't have it. I mean, as many times as you ask, I don't have it. Still don't have it. Still in California. He kept asking, just like he wouldn't let up. He was like some kind of tick. I thought he was having a mini stroke or something. He was like, keeps asking the same question. I'm like, "Oh, this is the moment I'm probably going to be on TMZ. It's about to melt down." Anybody want any more booze? There's a lot of it back here. I do.
Not a lot. We were just talking about that.
Yeah, I'll have some.
What would you like?
Whatever you pour me, I'll drink it.
Alright.
I'll take whatever. So when am I supposed to stop talking?